Joining me now, Ian Millhiser, senior correspondent for Vox, where he focuses on the Supreme Court and the Constitution. He's also the author of The Agenda: How a Republican Supreme Court is Reshaping America. Ian, thank you very much for coming to the Saturday show.
Thank you.
A lot of cases I want to get to in the little time that we have. So first, there is Trump versus the United States. This is his claim of presidential immunity. Right. How do we think that's going to go?
I mean, I think Trump's already won this case. Like, what the court is probably going to do is they're going to say presidents sometimes have immunity and send the case back down to the lower court to figure out if Trump does in this case. But none of that matters. Like, the issue is, are we going to have a trial before the election? And they've already run out the clock so much that I think that the answer is going to be no.
Okay. Fisher versus the United States. This is whether January 6 participants, including Trump, can be charged with obstruction of an official proceeding. How do we think? Are they going to throw out these charges?
I mean, I was very surprised at how the oral argument went. There have been like 16 judges who have heard this claim, and only 2 of them have said that the statute should be read narrowly, so these January 6 defendants essentially get off. Now, we're talking about there's about 1,200 January 6 defendants, including Donald Trump, and only about 300 of them have been charged under the statute at issue here. So it's not like it's going to be blanket immunity for January 6 defendants, but we're talking about a good chunk of people who participated in the insurrection.
All right, so then the next couple of cases have to do with abortion. The Mifepristone case.
Yeah.
How do you think the justices are going to rule on that?
So that is, you know, of the 2 abortion cases, that's the one I'm most optimistic about. I think that...
But they'll leave it alone. They'll leave access to Mifepristone.
That's correct. I mean, more than half of abortions in the United States are performed with Mifepristone. And I think they realize that if they accept the lower court's reasoning to ban it, so many other drugs would be banned. Look, these guys don't like abortion, but they don't want to ban antibiotics.
All right, and so that's the good news on abortion there. Thank you for the hope, Ian.
Don't worry, I'll spoil it in just a second.
Exactly, and this is with Moyle versus the United States, and this is whether federal law regulating hospitals trumps local abortion bans when it comes to performing emergency abortions.
Right.
You think the court is going to do what?
I mean, I'm worried about this case. So there's a federal law. It doesn't refer specifically to abortions, but it says if you go to an emergency room and you have a medical emergency, they have to stabilize your health condition. And so if the appropriate treatment is an abortion, the law right now says that you have a right to an abortion.
Right.
I think based on the oral argument, they're likely to write that out of the statute or at least put some kind of limits on it so that people who need life-saving or health-saving abortions won't be able to get them anymore.
And now here's a case that I don't think a lot of people even know about, and this is euphemistically known as the Chevron case.
Right.
And this is one, whether to overturn the landmark Supreme Court ruling in the 1984 Chevron case that gave federal agencies leeway to interpret the law.
Right.
Sounds very dry, Ian, but explain why this case, to your mind, is the most important decision to come down from the Supreme Court.
This is both the most hyper-technical, like even lawyers to have trouble understanding a case, but also the most important. So there are just scads of federal laws that delegate power to a federal agency. You know, everything from like how much emissions come from power plants to what your cable rates are to who gets overtime pay is controlled by federal agencies. Chevron was a case from the Reagan era which said that courts should generally let agencies do what they need to do and defer to them. What the court is likely to do here is essentially give itself a veto power over everything the agencies do. So it's not just, it's a huge transfer of power, and it's a huge transfer of power from the Democratic Biden administration to a Supreme Court that is a 6-3 Republican majority.
And would that have, to your point about, you know, regulating and antibiotics, that would give them purview over the FDA, right?
Potentially. I mean, it is a different, the FDA has its own statute, which is different than the regulatory regime that concerns Chevron. But what we've seen from the Supreme Court overall, they've been making up all these things with names like the major questions doctrine.
The stuff they've made up.
Yeah, that lets them interfere with agencies. So, like, this court wants to have the last word on a lot of things.
Okay, last word, 10 seconds. In the U.S. versus Rahimi case, this is allowing domestic abusers to have access to firearms. Will the Supreme Court make that happen, let that happen?
I think they realized they screwed up. They handed down a big pro-gun decision. It led to this decision. I think they're going to have to walk it back.
Ian, you've given us hope on 2 cases. Ian Millhiser, thank you very much for coming to the Saturday show.